chat. All right, welcome to another Living Freestyle Game Dev live stream. Today we are back to full live. Let's get some music going. We do this twice a week, Sunday nights and Wednesday mornings. We're basically here for AMA and Q&A for game dev, working mostly with Unreal Engine, but also Maya and kind of everything that plugs into that. My name's Kevin. I currently work at Riot Games in R&D, and once again we are doing all the cool stuff that I don't get to do at work. Even though the stuff I do at work is cool, there's a lot of other cool stuff I don't get to do, and so this gives me a chance to stumble through all of that cool stuff with you all. It looks like our audio is good to go. I looked through, there weren't any questions from any of the previous Q&As from last week, so with that, and we don't have any questions so far this evening, we're just going to hop right back into the AI stuff that we were working on from last week, or earlier last week, probably last Sunday, because Wednesday we took a quick little detour into skeleton retargeting. But anyways, with that, let's hop in Engine. If you have questions, those take priorities. I'll check the chat every now and then. Look at this. What is up, dude? Bucky. All right, I'll go by Bucky. I can do that. Cool. So where we left off, there's a delay, Mr. Pickett, between chat and the talk, but good to see you. All right, so where we left off was we had a whole bunch of enemies that were spawning. Dude, isn't it? I think it's pretty late where you are. Anyways, we had a whole bunch of dudes that were spawning. They come chasing us. Let me double check and make sure we've actually switched over our stream to our actual desktop, because we made that mistake before. Cool. And so basically what we have is we have all of our enemies. They're spawning. They're standing where they're finding spots around our hero character to stand on, and they're kind of repositioning so they're not overcrowding, and they're basically kind of doing that based on these series of rings that we built out last week, which is cool. All that seems to be working and things like that. Now, what they're not doing is they're not attacking. And so the other thing that we were working on was, if you recall, we had set it up so that our spawner could spawn either ranged or melee. And in this current mode, if I change this back, what I did is I hard coded this to spawn only enemies, melees. If I switch this to ranged and melee, you'll see we get blue guys and we get red guys. Now, the cool thing that we saw from last week is all of our ranged dudes, they're actually aiming. And so what I thought would be fun is, let's just spawn only ranged dudes and let's see if we can get them to shoot me. So to do that, let's just come back here and we'll spawn our enemy ranged. That should be a quick and easy fix. So now only ranged are spawning for the purposes of testing. Everybody is blue. Biddy 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 biddy. So, and they're all aiming. They're not really coming at me, which is great. We'll be able to see what's happening because obviously the ranged enemies can be further away. And I think all we need to do is when they're ranged, after they aim, is to give them the ability to shoot. I have not looked at this in quite some time, so let's see if we can figure this out. So let's take a look at our enemy ability tree. What are you doing up so late over there? All right, let's see here. So here's our melee fighting, and here is our ranged fighting. So we're telling a friend, we have sight, we set our focus, we have an aim start, we have a wait, we have a sequence, working on a pet project, burning the midnight oil. Same here. Updating current task position, setting wait gates, move twos, and aim ends. Totally understand that as well. Exactly, like sleep when I'm dead. So what I'm thinking is, what we could do is we could just insert a shoot. Right after the aim, or right after the wait. Or we could well, let's just, for right now, let's just see if we can even make the dude shoot. We're not gonna move two. And I think we should probably end our aiming before we do our move two. So that's one change I'm going to make. And then in this simple parallel, I think we can move this out of the way slightly. And then let's see if we have a shoot. Do we have a shoot? Ooh, we do have a shoot task. What does our shoot task do? This is old stuff and it's all messy. So let's clean this up. Look at this. So many. Okay. Cleaning up our blueprint, sticking with our hole. Leave the blueprint better than when we found it as. Alright, so this comes in, it checks to see if it's a base character, and it activates the ability with tag weapon fire. And then it activates the abilities with item slot. That's interesting. And then it finishes. Alright, well, let's just see if it works. Oh, it definitely works. They are definitely shooting me. Oh, I'm dead. Okay. Wow. Oh, and they're shooting each other too. That's great. Okay, so I am gonna either need a whole lot more health or probably some kind of god mode to get a better sense of how to test this. Interesting. Okay, so, and we had some errors in our graph. What was this? Oh, health bar errors. This is probably because our character is dead and we're trying to update our health bar even though our character is dead. That is going to be a problem for future me. Actually, maybe we can fix this, right? Yeah, see, it says right here. It's pending kill. Let's see if we can find this quickly. Set health bar. Get health. So when we come in here, we basically don't want to... Can we randomize each enemy's ability? Okay, so Jamie's asking, can we randomize each enemy's ability to get the shooting task? All right, so that's another thing I've discovered. It's probably a good idea to read the questions because not everybody sees them. So especially if you're just listening on the way. So can you randomize each enemy's ability to get the shooting task? Yes, you definitely can. So right now, the way it's set up is the enemies get their abilities based upon the gameplay ability system. And so a ranged enemy right now spawns with the ability to shoot. But not only can we randomize whether or not they get the ability to shoot, one day, after a whole lot more work that we haven't done yet, what will actually happen is they will actually have a series of weapons available to them. And then we have to build the logic to decide what is the best weapon for them to use at the time. And we can even go so far as they don't even start with weapons. They, just like players, have to go around and pick up weapons, and then based on that, those are the abilities they can get to use. So yes, but temporarily for testing, we can just let them all just spawn with shoot. And in fact, we'll probably, in one of our future late night or early morning deals, we'll probably have to figure out how to implement them picking up weapons or even finding them on the map. I mean, there's so many things we have to do. It's crazy. But yes, we can do that. So what we want to do is, let's just check to see if this dude is pending. Get pending movement. Nope, nope, nope. That's not what we want. I'm looking to see if there's a way we can detect detach from controller. Let's just check kill. No. Dead. Dying. Dying. Nope. There's got to be a way for us to detect this. Dying. Death is dead. What was that system that was pending kill? HWZ BP controller execute event graph node branch. Set health bar. Because the player character blueprint is pending kill. So this is the control pawn. That's the player character. And this is checking to see if it's not dead. So we are checking right here to see if it's not dead. That's another story that I will tell one day. So we're already checking to see that they're not dead, but in this case he's not dead. He's actually pending kill. Let's see if we can get the control. Let's see if it's on the controller. Get controller. Okay, let's try this. Let's do a non-context sensitive search for pending. Is refresh pending? Get pending input vector. Nope. There is no pending. Get damage. And it stats. Nothing, dude. Interesting. Okay, well, I am actually not going to stress about this because we are checking to see if it is dead or not. For some reason, there doesn't seem to be a quick way to get the kill status, pending kill, so I'll have to find it later. Which is okay. We'll do that later. What were we doing? Oh, we were trying to add the ability to health. So what we need to do is we need to update our player character to have either a ton of health or create a god mode so we can see what's happening. So if we look at our player controller, this is our player controller. When we possess it, we're going to do anim character BP, create HUD, bind event, create all weapons. That's fine. And then when we show our inventory, we create the HUD, show the HUD, update health bar, Horde Wars character. So let's see here. Let's take a look at our player character BP. See if our health bar is in here. Cut out radius, yeah. Health. Let's see if we set this to 10,000. Oh, I can only set it as high as 100? Ah, bummer. Okay. So what that means is, okay, this is going to get a little more entertaining. I think we need to update some code here. So to do that, let me make this bigger. That's gonna be this guy. Okay, so we have, I'm going into code, there's a little bit of a pain, kind of beyond the scope of what I thought we were going to be talking about, but that's okay. It's still good stuff. Okay, so we're going to, this is our damage execution. We have a defensive power definition, attack power definition, damage definition. There's our abilities. Damage done is equal to damage times the attack power divided by the defense power. So if defense power equals 0, defense power equals 1. So if our defense power is super huge, then the damage done is minimal. So what we could do, right here, this is the line. So there's a couple things we could do. We could either set the defense power for the character very, very high, or we could add in, you know, an extra if in here to see if there's a god mode. Let's see if we can do this without code though. So where's defense power? Can we get that anywhere? It's not there. Not there. Let's see if we can find it. Defense. No results found in any blueprint. Defense power equals 0. Attempt calculate capture to magnitude. Defense power def. Comes off a gameplay effect attribute capture definition statistics. Defense power. Okay. Our player character. Here's our ability system component. The ability system component. Character movement. That's not what I'm looking for. Purchased items. Well, this is making this quite fun. Where's our default inventory set? User data. Nope. Just nope. The ability system is inherited from the base character BP. The base character BP. Here's our inventory camera, our class defaults, our references. That's our movement system, our mantle system, our ragdoll. Health 100. Can I change this to anything higher than? Nope, cannot. Create all the weapons. Update the icons. Update the health bar. Damage statistics. HWZ damage statistics. Damage. Let's try damage statistics. Not found. Dead ends. I love dead ends. HDZ. Gameplay. Abilities. Damage execution. Where the heck are these damage statistics coming from? Go to definition. Capture the target's defensive power. Do not snapshot it because we want to use the health value at the moment we apply the execution. Define attribute, capture def, UHWZ defense power. But where does it get set? It's gotta be in the gameplay effect. Gameplay effect. Try GE. Okay, let's look at bullets. BP bullets. Let's browse to that. Okay, here's our gameplay effect damage base. I wonder what's in here. Expiration tag, stacking. Okay, here we have damage execution, damage source, snapshotted. That is our modifier. Oh my goodness, dude. I don't know where to find this. Default attack, attack damage. Attack power. Attack power. Attack power. I may not be using these at all. It's not found anywhere. No results. Okay. So HWZ damage statistics. Capture the target's defensive attribute. Do not snapshot because we want to use the health value. Capture the source attack bar. Imagine if I recreate the GE spec when the projectile is fired. When it hits the target, we want to use the attack bar at the moment the projectile was launched, not when it hits. Interesting. Defense power def. I wonder if I can create this. Blueprint. HWZ game mode, game state base, attribute set, item, gameplay ability. I wonder what this does. Select. I want to see what this gives me. Oh, look at this. Attack power, defense power, and damage. Okay. So this defines HWZ, that stands for Horde Wars, which was the original game name that this was going to be kind of made under, but we're not worried about that. So let's see here. There is no property here. Oh. I wonder if I can add this. Browse to this, kill this. Let's delete this. And then inside of gameplay effect modifiers. Here we go. Look at this. Here we go. So we can put, this is where the modifiers come in. Okay, I found it, but this is not what we want. Because I have a, okay, so here we can get the defense power, the move speed, etc. What I'm wondering though is, the problem is, here's the problem. That is going to put the defensive and the attack power on that ability, but we don't want to put it on bullets. What we want is, we want the character to have the ability to have a god mode. And so to do that, what I actually want is, I want the character to start, or at least have the ability to have a gameplay ability that's called maybe invincibility, for example. And so one way we could test this is, what I need to do is I need to find what our default inventory is. Player controller, mouse interface, player character, hit component, gameplay abilities. Here we go. So this is going to be default gameplay abilities. So let's see if we can no. Let's do a passive gameplay effect. Let's get rid of this gameplay abilities. Passive gameplay effect. Let's add one. And we're going to make one called let's do a mana cost heal base. Let's just see here. If we go find this guy, let's duplicate this, and let's call this gameplay effect invincible. And let's double click on this guy. And then for invincible, what we want to do is, it is what did we copy this from? We copied this from heal. So we don't want it to be any of this. Let's do defensive power, scalable float. Wait, hold on. let's just trash this whole thing. And then let's go into infinite modifiers. Let's see what our modifiers are. We're going to do a defensive power. We're going to override. And what we want to do is modifier magnitude. Oh, interesting. This is a curve table. Default attack, medium attack. Here, let me find this. Starting stats. What's in this? Oh, interesting. We can do starting stats with the default defense power. That's what we can do. So we'll do starting stats with a default defense power, and we'll give it a multiplier of 10,000. Okay, so if we do that and we save this, this thing is being applied to our base character if we change this to invincible. So theoretically, if we have this figured out at all, we should be able to take a whole lot more hits now. Let's see. I don't know if I'm buying that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, he's taking quite a few hits. Oh, you know what? Actually, that's working. That's totally working. He's taking a lot more hits. He's not dying. Now, what we can do, though, is to prove that that actually worked, is we can go back to this guy, go to our invincible stats, and change our defense power back to 1. And then play again. And this time, the first time he dies, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was like 5 hits. Now we're stuck in the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not like 5 or 6 hits. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that was like 5 hits. So now if we set this back to 10,000, that is 10,000. Compile, save, and then we play again. The first time it's probably got the old setting, so I have to die. Yep. All right, so we're gonna die, and then when we come back to life, if we come back to life, I did not come back to life. All right. I keep spawning in the floor. Well, that totally worked one time. Interesting. Maybe 10,000 is too much. Oh, interesting. I don't think I have a kill box below the map. So he just keeps on falling. Well, that's not good. I thought we had a kill box below the map. What is this thing? Nav mesh bounds volume. Let's make this a little bit bigger. And I'm gonna move it up so it's more in line with this. And then let's see if we can add a kill. Kills volume zone. Okay. Simulation. Da, da, da. I don't know if I need to do anything in here. If I hit that, we'll find out. Alright, so we respawned. It's taken a lot, many more hits this time. Okay, that's good. Alright, after much shenanigans, we finally got our character to be mostly invincible. So we can kind of see what's happening. So all of our enemies, now that we have that, it looks like they're basically aiming and shooting. That's exactly what we want. Now the interesting thing is they're also killing each other. So do we want to actually implement a friendly fire? I mean, part of me thinks that the enemy shouldn't. I think we should. I think we should have the ability to detect whether or not it's the same team or not. No friendly fire? Jamie's saying no friendly fire. Maybe we make it an option. In hard mode, there's friendly fire. But I think you're right. For now, we don't want the enemy, because that's just going to make the enemy seem super dumb that they're shooting each other in the back of the head. Let's see if they can do headshots. If I move right in range. Yep, they can even do headshots. I mean, you know what we could do? We could make it so that... We could actually make it so that... Oh, dude. There's two things we could do. We could make it so that friendly fire is not a thing. But what might even be cooler is if we made them smart enough to move if they don't have a clear shot. That actually might be more fun. So how do we do that? I think what we do is... That actually may not be that hard to do. Let's see here. So when we aim start, this is the shoot. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to activate the abilities with tag with item slot. And the abilities with the tag is a weapon fire ability. And so the gameplay ability that is a weapon fire ability is probably, it's actually probably called shoot gun. So here's our shoot gun task. This is our gameplay ability. And that's projectile hit. This is the weapon fire tag. That's the weapon fire tag. Okay, so this is the one that it's activating. It's actually activating shoot gun. Now, the question is, do we want shoot gun? Can't. No, we don't want to do that. So here, let's go back. Let's... So we're aiming. Interesting. Aiming. Aim start. Finish execute. Update AI set. How in the heck does this work? Okay, this updates our AI status. This tells whether or not we have friends. Then we set head site. We set our focus. So the focus does what? Gets a rotation mode, normalizes, like sets the focal point, sets the focus. Aim. What does aim actually do? Aim start aiming. Holy cow, dude. I don't remember how we did the aiming because it's playing an animation. He's clearly playing an animation. Oh, I died a miserable death. What is happening with the spawns? Alright, our kill box isn't working, that is for sure. Kill zone volume. Overlap all dynamic. Use CCD. I'm not entirely sure how kill zone works. Kill zone volume UE4. Come on, internet. Oh, I have to code that in the level blueprint. Oh, come on, man. All right, let's see here. Blueprints. Open level blueprint. Begin play, event overlap. Kill zone. Overlap. Add actor, begin overlap. Overlap actor. All right, and then the overlapped actor, we're going to I guess what we can do is set the damage super high. Cast to World Wars character. Health. Set health. See if that works. If we take this and we move it up in, everything should just die when we start this. Yeah, it doesn't even work. That's perfect. Okay, so now when we play, if we fall through the floor, we should die again. There we go. Okay. Cool. So Killzone's working, and what we were working on getting at was... I completely just spaced on what it was. This is where we set the focus. This was our aiming. I think we don't want to shoot unless we have clear line of sight. so there must be a montage too, by the way, in here. Montage. Fire skill. Animation montage. Interesting. That's the T-pose. Aim. Biped pistol aim. Here we go. Where is this dude being used? Reference viewer. This is used in our pistol aim. Our pistol aim, if we drag around in here, this is just our arm flopping around. Okay, so this is the aim that's being used. But where's that being used? Again, with the reference viewer, that's being used in the anim BP. Okay. Locomotion. Additive bind poses. That's locomotion. On ground. Main state machine. Full body. ALS movement. Pistol aim is being added in right here. Yaw, pitch, and roll. And it's being added in based on the aim offset. It's always being added in. So basically, roll, yaw, and pitch. Okay, so we have to find where we're setting yaw and pitch, or the aim offset. And so that's probably in the event graph. Where's our variables? Aim. Find references. Set aim offset. Has movement input. ALS rotate mode. How's this dude aiming? Okay. So the aim is working. But I don't want him to shoot if he doesn't have a clear path. Let's just see if we can add this into the aim task. Aim start. Or no, the shoot task. Shoot gun. No, not that one. Shoot task. What we want to do is let's do a line trace. We can just do a line trace. So, hold on, line trace. Wait, line trace for objects, object types. Trace. switch. Okay, so we're gonna do a line trace for object. The start is going to be, we're gonna get the meshes, get the, nope, let's get a socket location. Get socket location, and let's get the, how are we deciding when we shoot? We're activating an ability with the task. The ability we're activating is a projectile. The projectile is getting its BP bullets. BP bullets is getting its this is a projectile base. We 2Rabbit Games are doing all right. How are you doing tonight? Antius, welcome back. Y'all doing okay tonight? Welcome. Thank you for dropping in. We're trying to figure out how to get our enemies not to shoot each other. Just in case you're joining us late. Let's see here. Breaking the hit result, that's the hit flash. That is not what I want. Shoot. Shoot gun. Spawns a BP bullet. I think 2Rabbit, I think we're gonna, so 2Rabbit's asking what kind of game is this? First person shooter. So I'm actually thinking it's third person with a potential option for first person. But I'm thinking third person mostly. And we'll see. I think once we get through the prototype and we see what people think, in the end, I'll just let the players decide what's better. And as I think about it, there's some potential advantages and disadvantages to both. So here's our BP bullets. This guy inherits from projectile base. Projectile base, that's our explosion. That's our hit component. Spawning the emitter. We're sending the gameplay event to the character here. This is where we set our hit direction. For some reason, I remember seeing somewhere that we spawn a bullet. And when we do that, we actually set its velocity and everything. That's when it hits. Construction, not there. Aim start, shoot gun. This is projectile base. Here we go. This is what we're doing. So here we're doing, okay, this is what we're looking at. This is where we commit our ability. We're getting the AI controller, we're getting the focal point, we're getting the world location, we're normalizing that vector, the aim forward vector, the aim source location is the world location of the projectile spawn point. Then we're spawning the actor, and we're doing a multi-line trace from the aim source location and the aim forward vector. So this is effectively the exact same stuff that we want to do. So what we need to do is get the aim source location. And the aim forward vector. And the aim forward vector is calculated from the projectile spawn point. And the projectile spawn point is the weapon. Ah, here we go. Okay, so what we're doing is we're getting the actor, the weapon, and then the projectile spawn point. Then we're getting the world location, the AI control. Okay, so we need all of this. Let's just grab all of this. The world location normalized, and we're going to set the aim forward vector. And then with that aim forward vector, we also need the aim source location, which we are setting to be the world location. Wait, oh, I just unselected everything. The AI controller, the focal point. Normalizing that, or aim vector, or forward. Okay, cool. So now let's go back to our shoot task. Here's our shoot task. And what we want to do in here is pretty much the same thing. Okay, we want to, let's define a variable called, I believe it was called aim source location. Aim source, nope. This is going to be aim source location. Aim source location. We'll set that to a vector. And we need an aim forward vector. Aim forward vector. Let's paste this in. We got all that. All the normalization. We're getting the AI controller from this guy. Let's see if we cast this to enemy. If this is true, then what's going to happen is we are going to, if we cast it to enemy and it's true, we're going to set our aim forward vector, our aim source locations. Okay, that's fine. So let's set our aim source location and our aim forward vector. And we're actually setting the forward vector first. And once we've set those, the aim source location comes off of the world location from the avatar actor. Interesting. I don't know what that is. As enemy, weapon, get the weapon, and from the weapon we'll get the projectile spawn point. Actually, that's right here, so we can just do this like this. So now we got the projectile spawn point. If our cast fails, we're still going to activate this. Let's go into here, and then once we have our projectile spawn point, we're going to feed that into the world location. Get the world location from the projectile spawn point and feed that to the aim source location. This is getting a little bit out of hand. And the aim forward vector is that. Okay, great. Now, what we're going to do with that is we are going to use all of that to do a line trace. Okay. This is getting so messy. All right, let's move this way over here. Let's clean this up a lot. We don't need this. We do need this. I'm going to go ahead and do that. this here. We need to get the AI controller from the enemy. Can we do that? Okay, cool. And then what I want to do is I want to do all this multi-line trace stuff. What we are trying to do right now is find a way to make it so that our enemies do not shoot each other. So my theory is that we can just do a quick line of sight test. And if it is an enemy that they would hit with the bullet, they just aren't gonna shoot. So we're gonna make not world static, we're gonna go pawn. Oh, interesting. Okay. So we're going to have to fix this a little bit. So if it hits out hits for each loop, cast to enemy. Nope. Nope. Well, that's interesting. The out hit, if it hits a pawn, I want to cast it to character. That's weird. That's super weird. Break the hit result. Hit the actor. Cast to enemy. If this is true, so for each of these, we're gonna come out here, we're gonna execute this. And then when we're done, let's just come in here. And for now, let's just disconnect this. And if this fails, also we're gonna come in here. Just for testing purposes. Okay, so we're going to come in here, and if we're successfully and we hit an enemy, let's just print a string. Friendly fire. Huge leap of faith here. We can do we have our array. Does this compile? Holy cow, that compiled. That is a miracle. Okay, so just to reiterate what we're doing. Everything's the same about shooting as it was before. But what we've added in now is in the shoot task, we're going to do a line trace from the enemy to wherever in the direction they're aiming for a distance of, what is our distance? That's a good question. 4,000 units. If it hits an enemy, it's going to print friendly. So they're still going to shoot each other though, but they should be printing friendly if they're going to shoot each other. So let's see. Friendly. Yep, that dude got nailed. Friendly. Okay, cool. So that's working. Now let's see if we don't shoot whenever we're printing friendly, if that will fix it so they don't shoot each other by accident, and then they're smarter about moving around. We could just turn on friendly fire. We could just implement it so that friendly fire doesn't kill ourselves, which we still may want to do. But I think it might feel like they're smarter if they just hold their shot until their buddies are out of the way. So what we're going to do is, if this is ever true, what we want to do is we need another variable, b. So this is gonna be a boolean, and let's just say friendly fire. And let's set this to boolean. All right, it's gonna start off as false. If this is ever true, yeah, two rabbits, totally. I think that, so two rabbits has hit this on the head. simple fix would be to have their bullets not hurt each other or even just pass through. So, but Super called it out as a dirty fix though. I don't necessarily think that's a dirty fix. I think that's totally applicable. I think that I think that I may still want to have that option in there as a lever that I can pull anyways, but as I was thinking out loud, I just thought it might be cool to try to do it this way for fun. So basically we're going to set our friendly fire to true then in here. The other thing that we want to do is when we first start this, we want to set our friendly fire to false just in case, because remember we had that case where the variables were not being reinitialized. So we're going to start off setting it to false. We're going to come through and do a bunch of stuff. Friendly fire is true. When this is done, we're going to come through and we're going to activate the ability with tags, finish execute. However, this is where we're going to add in our logic to skip this maybe. So what we want to do is I'm holding B and left clicking to get a quick branch here. Control click dragging to move the pin without disconnecting it. And if it is false, if there is no friendly fire, we're going to execute what we were doing before. Ooh. If it's true, what we're going to do is we're just going to say, we're just going to finish the execute success, but we're not actually going to fire a bullet. So that might actually work. If this works, we'll clean up this blueprint. Let's save this. We never know how often we're going to crash. Oh, this is our invincibility gameplay effect. All right, so okay, they're just not firing at all. We got something in our logic wrong. Shoot task. We're setting friendly fire to false. We're coming in here. We're casting it to enemy. Oh, duh. We didn't feed in our condition. Alright. Now we're feeding in our condition. There we go. Now they're shooting again. I'm gonna die here in a second, and then I'll respawn with invincibility. Okay. I have not fired a single shot. They're much better than they were before. It's way better than it was before. Only the dudes in front are shooting if they have clear shots. Actually, that's kind of working. Occasionally they hit each other, but okay, that dude definitely hit each other. I think it's because okay, wait, there's a cool way to test this. Here, what we can do is we can go back and we can set our spawner blueprint to start spawning melee champs again. So let's do this. So now we have a 50-50 chance of spawning melee versus ranged. So let's see. So that guy in the ranged dudes in the back are not shooting because they do not have clear shots. Oh, those two dudes have a clear shot, so they're shooting now. This is totally working. See that guy back there? He's not shooting. I died. And I'm not respawning. Dag nabbit. Just try to climb up on that dude's head. There we go. Okay, cool. So the range guys. Oh, he definitely shot that guy. So this dude on the right is shooting his buddy. Why is that? Who shot that guy? Okay, hold on, let's try this. Let's change our spawn. Let's do 2. Let's do 3. See if we can do 3 and get... No. I know what we can do. Let's do... enemy spawner. Let's spawn... I only want to spawn 1 ranged. Okay. Let's do this. Let's go. This is going here. This is a quick and dirty fix. What we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this spawner. And in this spawner, when we duplicate it, oh shoot. That's not gonna work. Because that would change the whole blueprint. Let's just try 3. Play. And we'll just shoot them until we get what we need. They're all melee. Oh wait, I changed it to all melee. Enemy ranged. Okay. Alright, so we have all ranged? Alright. Huh, my body is left there standing. I did not die, okay. Hold on a second. What are the odds that we're only spawning ranged characters? There we go. Here's a melee. We got 1 melee. 2 melees. Alright. If I go here, he's not shooting. Somehow, okay. So here's what's happening. The problem is the line trace is too thin. So what we can do to fix this real quick, and I know we're over time, but I don't mind, we're making games. If we do let's do a sphere trace, I think it is. Sphere trace for objects. And we reconnect in all this stuff instead. Let's take our start and put it in our start, our end and put it in our end. And then let's make our radius of 20. And object types. Feed that in. Oops. Feed this in. And then we'll just take all of our outputs, our out hits. All right, so the difference, just as a quick overtime in the gaming industry, like PB&J, exactly. All right, so let's draw debug. I'm almost gonna, I know I'm gonna regret the persistent. All right, but just to be clear, the difference between a line trace and a sphere trace, basically a line trace is a single line. So it's a very thin thing that's shooting from in whatever vector direction we give it. And so the problem is our characters, it's like the line trace is seeing our character, but it's not noticing that the bullet actually has width and the bullet's still hitting our enemies. A sphere trace actually takes a sphere and projects it along that path so that it's a wider range. And you'll see in the debug when we draw this, as if we get any of our ranged characters in here, you'll see these giant spheres. You can see them. So that actually has depth now. All right, it has a kind of a volume to it. So I'm going to turn off the. We'll put that on for a duration. Let's play again. And this time, what we want to do is shoot these dudes. So he's not shooting. The dude behind me is shooting, but the dude in front of me is not. Oh, I accidentally shot him. Die. Okay. So now what's happening is when I stand close to him, oh, dude got me. Okay. I come back here and get behind him. That guy's not shooting me. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. If I can stand over here. Now this guy's not shooting me, but that guy is. Okay, I think this is working. All right, so let's go back here. Let's turn off our draw debug to none. And I'm going to say that this is working. So if this is working, let's clean up this blueprint a lot to make it nice and pretty. Okay, so cast to enemy. It's going to 2 places, which do not need to be below. Okay. Aim location. All kinds of vector stuff going on. Let's see if we can straighten some of these lines out. Almost there. Okay. Oh, this is a mix of cross lines. Whatever, that looks better. And then we'll take this. All right, and then as one final test. And by the way, something that we should probably do. This is the shoot task. If we cast this to the base character and it fails, I mean, this should never happen. We should never have a shoot task that's happening that's not a base character right now. I think if the cast fails though, we still want to finish our execution so we don't get stuck in this ability. So I'm just going to finish this. I want to set this to false though, just because future us maybe would want that information. All right, and we're gonna go back. Our debug's off. Look at this, they're not shooting because they don't have a clear shot. It's great. Now he's got a clear shot, he shoots. He doesn't have a clear shot. That's pretty cool. I think that's working. Okay, let's go back to this and let's up the ante. Let's go back to can't click the spawner. Let's go back to 10 characters and see if we can. We got a mix of melee and range, and they should not be shooting each other. Okay, but he did. Totally shot each other. And I gotta figure out what's going on with this spawn thing, why I'm falling through the floor. Some collision stuff happening here. Okay, here we go. So that dude got hit. Who's he getting hit by? Is it because our characters are moving after a bullet is fired? Yeah, that guy just got hit again. I'm trying to watch for where the hits are coming from. See, he just got hit again. It's this dude up top. This dude at the top right is hitting him. It's way better than it was. Alright, let's try something here. Let's go ahead and when we do our sphere trace, let's change our rate. Let's double our radius. No, let's go up 50%. Let's see if that fixes it. And we'll go back to standing where we were. But we have nobody who spawned up top. Yeah, we do. Okay. Running. Like, where did that guy's health go? Did I shoot him? Dude, that guy just got shot in the head by somebody. The guy up top is still shooting. Why is he still shooting? Oh, look at that. Okay. Yes, there is a way to slow time. I don't know if I have it implemented though. There's a bunch of. Ooh, that was probably not the good button to press. So, I'm used to working in environments where if you press like the plus minus keys, it'll advance a frame and so on. But what I'm seeing happening is when they're shooting, with the gun above their head, like the projectile starts from a spot that's higher up. But right now they're not accidentally shooting each other. And he's actually doing it. Okay, so that one was a blatant case of he shot and the dude moved in front of the bullet. I am okay with that scenario. I think what I can probably do is just increase this radius a little bit more. And it'll probably be pretty good. Now, oh, I did start with the gun. That's nice. You're gonna shoot me and kill me. Jump for it. Run away. Alright, I died. Alright, now I'm back. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of range dudes. Oh gosh, he took out the guy in a headshot. So those three dudes over here on the left are shooting between the melee people to actually hit me, which is pretty impressive. I think what's happening is when we get this close in, my range dudes should not be this close. They're standing too close to me. So we need to take a look at what's going on that the range dudes are picking a point that's so close. That's not normal. And so what's happening is the actual projection that's happening from the end of the gun through to me is actually through the bad guy. And so what's happening is when it does the trace, it's not picking anything up. And as a result of that, they're accidentally hitting their buddies. So these guys on the right, wow, he's getting it right between those two dudes. Okay, so that dude just got shot in the head somehow. I do not understand that. Alright, let's go back down to 2 characters. Really want to wrap this up for the day. Let's try this again. Oh wait, I was going to turn on that debug again. Debugging for duration. And let's set the duration of 2 seconds. This is going to be maybe a little easier to debug. Alright, so here's our melee. That's melee. We need a ranged guy. Give me a ranged guy. You're not ranged. You're not ranged either. Alright, we got a ranged guy. He's not firing. Not firing. He should shoot me now because he's definitely got... Yeah, the bullet... Okay, so 2 rabbits. Says the bullet spawns where the idle animation gun placement is. Does it scan from... Yes, it scans from there. Oh, wait, look at this. Where was that? That was funny. Look at me go. Where's he going? It's awesome. All right, so you'll see this the trace happens from. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. The trace actually isn't happening from where the gun is. The trace is actually happening from. Well, maybe that's the problem. The other thing is, the trace is happening... Dude, why did he just... Oh, okay, so yes, alright. I think you're onto something here, 2 Raps. Look at where the trace is happening from. You can see the debug spheres that are drawing, but they're drawing on the other side of me. Why are they drawing on the other side of the hero? They should be drawing... What they should be drawing right at the gun point. So here we go. Let's see what's going on here. The aim forward vector, the aim source location is equal to the world location of the projectile spawn point, which is on the weapon. That's weird. Let's draw a debug sphere where that is. Draw, debug sphere. And the center is going to be the world location of that long gunpoint thing. 40, duration of 1, white is fine, thickness is 1. Okay, so where's our enemy ranged? Okay, so you can see where the spawn point is. Interesting. There's a couple things wrong with this. I mean, it's good to visualize this. You can see, there we go. That's where it's supposed to start from. But look at where the trace is happening. The trace is actually... So the debug sphere is correct. All right, so we know that's right. So the actual spawn point, this aim source location is correct. The aim source location... Oh, look at that. We're adding to the aim source location some value. That's a really big value. Okay, let's see here. So make the bullet spawn at the end of the aiming animation. Yes, that is true. That's one thing that's happening. That's why the bullets are up high above his head and down below. There would have to be 2 checks then. Go to aiming mode if target is acquired, then shoot if target is still in sight. There would have to be 2 checks. Go to aiming mode if target is acquired, then... Yes, we could do it that way. But line of sight is different though, because you can see. The thing is though, the problem is the hero can be spotted by the enemy, but you still may not have a clear shot. But you still have line of sight, and also we have a feature that has our enemies tell each other where I am to help make them feel smarter. But watch, if we just change the way the source location for the trace, oh, everybody spawned as a melee. Couple headshots. So now look at where the spawn points are. It's doing its traces from the gun now. That's gonna help a lot. So if I move just outside, it's good. Okay. So we're going to have to fix. There's a couple things I want to fix here. The problem is, all right, let me show you what this problem is. I swear this is gonna be the last thing. You can see I'm using a multi-trace for objects. Well, here's the problem with the multi-trace for objects. If I have the ranged character, then me, then an enemy behind me, the multi-trace goes through, hits me, says it's not an enemy, then it goes through and it hits the enemy behind me and says that is an enemy. So even though the enemy is behind me, he still says, oh, I'm not able to shoot because I don't have a clear shot. So what we want to do is we want to change this multi-sphere trace to a sphere trace. Sphere trace for objects. And we want to connect in all of our stuff to this instead. That way if the first thing we hit is an enemy, then we won't shoot. So that'll fix that. And then we also don't need to do this whole for loop, which cleans that up. So we can go here. And then we're going to cast an enemy. If it's true, we could actually even get rid of the Boolean variable. And if it's false, we're going to come in here. We could clean that up too. Okay, so this should fix it so that if an enemy is behind me, he will still shoot. The multi was there in the first place, I think, because... Oh, interesting. Wait. Hold on a second. They're not shooting. On hit, the hit actor, cast the enemy, friendly fire, true. Why weren't those two dudes shooting? Okay, so let's shoot this guy. I want two dudes on the ground. Now, if I stand immediately between... I died. Okay, if I stand between... So why isn't this dude shooting at me right now? He's stuck. He's got to be stuck. And the reason he's stuck is because what's happening is we set B to true, we set it false. Wait, how's he getting stuck? It doesn't cast the enemy. Friendly fire is false. That's weird. The reason for the multi, so Two Rabbits is asking what was the reason for the multi in the first place. I think the quick answer is I was just used to using it. Now this dude should totally be shooting me right now. But he's not. He doesn't ever shoot. Why doesn't he ever shoot? I broke something. That's why. Sphere trace for objects. Start and end. Radius of 40. But it never draws this. Why is it never drawing this? For duration, ignore self. Hold on, I have a crazy idea. No, that time he never even started shooting. So Two Rabbits was saying, does he stop shooting once the player is dead and then stops? No. That time he never even started. Alright, so that guy, dead. Give me a ranged. There we go, so he shot that time. Okay, I have a crazy idea of what happened. Alright, he's not shooting when I'm in front. Why isn't he not shooting now? So this is actually the case that you were just talking about. At first he was shooting, then he stops. The minute the enemy here, let's try this. So basically what's happening is the minute the ranged character stops shooting me, he never shoots me again. I need another ranged character, please. Alright, so he's shooting. Now he shouldn't shoot me anymore. And then he never shoots again. He does a single loop. And the only reason I can think of that he's doing a single loop is because the ability is not completing properly. Which means... setting the aim location. We're doing our spear trace. If... oh, look at this. Oh god. Alright, so what we need to do is we need to come in here afterwards. That's what was happening. Our friendly fire wasn't happening. Because we took out that for loop on completed, we were no longer hitting that. So now we should be good. Alright, so now I'm behind an enemy. Neither of these dudes should shoot me. Which they're not. Now they start shooting me again. Cool. It's working. Okay, so let's get rid of our sphere or multis trace, which is cool. Let's get rid of our debug. Compile, save that. We'll play one last time and then we're gonna wrap up tonight's live stream. Alright, but first what I wanna do is I wanna test this with lots of enemies. So let's go 10 enemies again. And see if the result of our efforts helps. So they should not shoot. Standing in the floor. I gotta figure out this collision thing. Alright, so now I should be invincible. And I am... it's pretty good. They're not actually shooting each other. Oh, that guy just got shot once. It's pretty good for the most part. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's gonna work. occasionally a bad guy gets hit, but honestly, one, I think that's okay, because it's kind of cool sometimes when you're able to get the enemies to actually shoot themselves, or their own grenade blows them up or whatever. That just feels good in a game, I personally think. And the second thing is, we may implement on top of this a no friendly fire option. So I think overall this feels pretty good. I think they feel pretty smart. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, we're going to wrap up tonight's stream. As long as it can't be cheesed. Yep, exactly. So I think we're going to wrap up tonight's stream with that. I'm pretty happy with where we got to. And I think what I'd like to look into a little bit more next time is a lot of these kind of collision issues where I'm bouncing around, I'm falling through the floor, all this kind of stuff, because it's just weird. Being able to step up on it, getting in these weird states, things like that. And also, the whole weapon shooting before the aiming finishes thing. I think that is also a good one to do. And that one might be as simple as, where is this? Has sight, set focus, aim, start, shoot. Wait. I know I said I was done, but you know, this is killing me. Let's turn our sphere trace back on. See if 0.25 seconds is enough. It looks to be. So what I did is I just put a delay in there. Fell out of my kill box. I'm mega overtime, I know. But you can see I just put in a 0.25 second delay, and now the bullets actually come after he finishes aiming. Okay. So we don't have bullets coming from over the head or under the feet anymore, which is cool. Cool. All right. So, as before, as I was saying, we're actually done. I'm trying to get done. For everybody who came to hang out, thanks for coming. Two Rabbits, Jamie, everybody who hopped in. It was cool seeing you all. I've got to get some sleep. I will be back at this again Wednesday. Wednesday, we're going to kind of take a look at some of our collision stuff, maybe our enemy team stuff, see what's going on there. But I feel like overall, getting pretty close to kind of moving on to the next phase of this whole AI thing, which I think is going to be figuring out what abilities the enemy should execute given their arsenal, whatever they happen to have with them. We may actually implement a punch for our melee characters. I think that might be a good one to do so that our melee characters can actually fight as well. But overall, went way over time. And as always, for anybody who's watching this after the fact, if you have questions you'd rather we kind of looked at next time, you know, anything to do with game dev, etc., throw those in the comments below, or come to the next live stream and ask questions. So see you all Wednesday morning. Have a great night, everybody. Later.